What's up? We are back again this Wednesday with another video, and this one is not a challenge.
No, it is not. It is a VTSS recommend.
And this week we're recommending books.
So a lot of you have requested us to do a books video since we started the channel, I think.
Pretty much on my Instagram, every day there are requests about my books.
And an avid reader. So yeah, first up, Vaibhav is an avid reader. I had to actually bring my 5 from Colaba because there's no space for me to even put books in this house.
One of them is mine.
One is yours. We'll tell you about that. But yeah, so Vaibhav is basically the reader in the relationship. We've established that.
You read stuff online.
I read stuff online, and I wasn't
like Daily Mail.
Yeah, I wasn't really a reader. In fact, when I met you, I used to read very little.
Yeah.
You kind of made me read more, but now over the years, I've actually kind of not been reading much again. But yeah, so.
But just, I mean, you read on Snapchat.
Yeah. But I still have some.
That's not reading, you know that.
So these are our favorite books. There's no like bestseller thing or whatever.
Yeah, and there's no category or fiction, whatever it is. It's
what
just
we love.
They are books that everyone should read according to us. Alright, so the first book I recommend is called 1984. It is by George Orwell. I've spoken about this book in my earlier video on my channel. So this book is about this world which is being watched by the Big Brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they made a movie about this book also. And this writer is, he's a fabulous writer. This is a classic. Everyone should read this book.
Maybe I should start. Okay, so my first book is Princess by Jean Sasson. The reason I love this book is this is the first like proper book that I read like when I was in school in my library. It was not like where we used to read those Nancy Drews and Famous Five, and after that this was the actual first book that I read, which was not like kiddie and cheesy, and it's quite eye-opening about the condition of women in other countries, and it was
quite scary.
Yeah, it's scary and hard-hitting, and it's always stuck with me. And since then, I have read every book that Jean Sasson has written, which is not something I do normally. Like, I'm not someone like you you write it like a writer and you keep, I'm not that kind of a person. But with her books, I have read each and every one, and I would definitely recommend them. So this is number 1 on my list.
Okay, so the next book that I would recommend is this one. This is by Mark Haddon, and I know a lot of people would have read this book. It's called The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. It's a super funny book about a dead dog and a little boy who turns into a detective trying to find out the reason.
Who killed the dog?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And it's super funny the way this kid is going about finding out the killer, and everyone should read it. You should too.
Okay, the next book is Tuesdays with Morrie.
I've read that one.
Mitch, Albom. This is one of the books I read before Vaibhav, which accidentally happened. So I'm one of those people who walks into a bookstore and I look at that bestseller section, fiction, non-fiction, and then I usually pick out a book, as you've noticed. I mean, I do that. I'm not like you where you go deep into the shelves and you almost lose Vaibhav in the store and you have to find him about half an hour later and he'll come with these books that I would have never heard of. So yeah, this was one of those where I just saw it randomly, bought it, and I didn't really expect much. It's really moving.
And the best part is that this book is like it's self-help also, because it talks about good things,
like life lessons
and teaches you how and how you should live your life. But also it's a story. It's not like a table of
like
things.
Not a lecture.
Okay, so the next book that I'm going to recommend has also been recommended by Barack Obama, and it is called Sapiens.
This book is actually everywhere. I mean, honestly, I've seen it on a lot of people's Instagram, and a lot of people seem to be reading it. And you're on the second one now, which is what the other one.
So this one is by Yuval Noah Harari. He's a professor and a brilliant man. And this book is about how human beings have developed and how we've reached the state of our lives and how we live our lives, and just.
But is it like an easy read?
It's interesting. It's not really heavy, but it's very interesting if you're into a bit of history. If you're also into if you're curious about evolution, about how things have happened and how we are the way we are, and this guy does a beautiful job, man. He's a brilliant guy, and everyone should read this book. I'm sure everyone has read it already, but if you haven't, then read it.
I think for now, keep it on your side. It's a little thick for my side. Okay, the next one is The Kite Runner. Oh my god.
I hate this book and I love this book and I hate this book.
So I bawled like a baby after reading this book, and I made Weber read it, and then Weber bawled like a baby.
I've never cried so much.
Did you read the second one? 1,000? No, you didn't, right? Yeah,
after this book, I've sworn off
1,000 Splendid Suns as well. So it like literally, like it's like that heart-wrenching feeling when you read this book and you bawl, like literally. And it's just one of the most beautiful books ever written, I think. Like,
it is the most beautiful book ever written, and it's also the most ugly book ever written because it just makes you cry, and this guy just takes your heart.
I didn't warn you, right? I just said, Weber, you have to read this book. You're such a reader. I can't believe you not read this book. And then Weber read it, and then he came back to me and he was like, why did you do that to me?
I mean, this guy literally takes your heart in his hand and like juggles with it and plays with it, and you're like bawling and crying without like it's
even the second one, 1,000 Splendid Suns. What is that also made me bawl, but this is like next level. Like
this is something else.
This is are you crying right now?
There's something in my eye. Alright, so the next book that I'm going to recommend is another classic. It's called The Catcher in the Rye by J D Salinger.
I have not read any of your books. This is kind of scary.
Yeah, and I've read all of your books.
This is exactly what I was saying.
So this book is again about this disgruntled boy who hates everything around him, yet he is so full of love and he's not able to express that. He's confused. Just like it connects with you at so many levels because we've all gone through that stage where we just think that nobody understands us, but yet we are so full of love, and it turns into frustration and hate because we're unable to express it. And this one is just a beautiful little book. Everyone should read this, The Catcher in the Rye.
Okay, my next book is Born to Run by Christopher McDougall. Now this book, if you're a runner, you will really enjoy reading this book. You actually enjoyed it otherwise as well, but for me it was basically while I was majorly into running at that phase of my life when I was training for the half marathon and I'm just gonna ignore that. While I was training for the half marathon and running a lot, and I actually was really interested in you know, the technicality, the theory of it, and then there was this whole part about barefoot running, which was becoming big at that time. Kenyan runners. And if you're someone who enjoys running, you will love this.
It's a story. It's about a guy going to Kenya to train. And because he's curious about how they run the way they run and how they're so good.
Like, and is it just in their blood? I
mean, if you know anything about marathon running, then you would be curious as to why Kenyan runners are the best and why people all over the world go to Kenya to train. And
it's not even just marathons; it's like ultras. These are like next level runners.
Okay, so my last book is a book that I tell everyone to read. I literally do. Everyone who meets me, I talk about this book.
I still haven't read it, but I will.
This book is called Big Magic. It's by Elizabeth Gilbert. She's a very famous writer because she wrote Eat, Pray, Love.
I've read that one and I've watched the movie.
I've not read that one actually. So this book is all about creativity and about how to harness your creativity, how to find the creative self which is there inside of everyone, and how you should be able to express it. You don't always have to be creative to make money. You should be creative just for the sake of being creative because it's good for your soul.
Is that where you got that philosophy from? Because you always say that. I mean, that's something you believe always. Where does a lot of different things to be like creative.
Which may not result in money
like
making.
Immediate, but like,
they're just like for the sake of being creative.
Okay, my last book is...
My last book. This is my last book. It's not her book.
It is Weber's book, but I took it from him to teach him a lesson.
Yes, I was taught a lesson because I did not steal a book.
You did steal a book.
I did not.
You guys have seen my tree bookshelf in my room, right? So there are lots of books there and I don't really have an account of what's what. So there was a spelling and grammar book which I was trying to like.
Trying to? You had
read at
kept
some
it.
point.
It was rotting.
Because I have really bad spelling.
It was rotting since your high school.
So Webber slyly took it one day while I was not looking, and then suddenly I come to his house and I see the whole book is filled in like it was exercises, and he's done all the exercises.
The book had asked me to take it.
No,
I did not just steal it.
And I was like, you took my book and you wrote in it without asking me. So I took this to teach him a lesson, and I said, you're never going to get it back.
Can you talk about the book now?
So,
I will, because I've read it.
The book is fab. Again, Webber said it's a really good book, recommended it. I didn't steal it, I told him and I took it. But totally worth it. It's about Andre Agassi and his struggle with drug abuse and how, you know, he rose to fame and all of that. And it's basically like, I mean, if I were to say it in like Indian terms, it's got a lot of masala in it. Like, you know, normally like...
That's just a wrong way
no,
of
it's
talking
not.
about this book. I mean,
It
this
has
book is
a
so
lot
much
of
more.
masala. Yeah,
No,
it has a lot of meat is what I mean. That even if you're not into him, like even if you've never heard of him, you will love the book just purely for the book.
Alright, so those were the books that we wanted to recommend this time.
And we would like your recommendations in the comments. I'm not sure if I will read them, but definitely read them.
You will probably just buy them and keep them, and I'll end up reading them.
Yeah.
So that's it. We'll see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Bye.